visitors with us at work on, what did Heather bring? Whatever day they were here, and they were playing under the piano. Yeah, I think it's just accidentally unplugged.
I'd plug it in, but once I got down there, I couldn't get back up.
Yeah, we'll deal with it another time. Don't want anybody stuck under the piano while we're praying. Or ever, really, but. We're a small group tonight. Are you checking the score? And?
16 points ahead.
And are they in the fourth quarter yet or no? Ah. If I had my phone up here, I'd probably like halfway through the services check it out, so feel free.
Esther was undergraduate, just finishing up at Louisiana Tech when Kim Mulkey was in her first year playing there.
You know, I did undergrad at Indiana University, and we had a very good men's basketball team while I was there. My brother did undergrad and some grad work at Duke, and so the funny story in my family is when Indiana beat Duke in when I was in college, the Elite Eight or whatever, I called my brother, and he was like, "You may not speak to me for a week," and hung up the phone. So I get the whole March Madness basketball. My parents used to decide who wore crimson and who wore Duke blue, in the house to root for both of us. So yes. And my brother never left. Went to school at Duke and has lived in North Carolina his entire life since. So yes, I completely. And also growing up in Buckeyeville, the rabbi used to give score announcements. If the football games and high holidays coincided, he would give score updates from the Bema when I was growing up. So I completely understand it.
So everybody was devastated when Michigan won, right?
All the time, of course. Yeah, there was I think there was an evening home opener game that coincided with the original Slichot plans. And so they changed the Slichot plans. I think I was probably in high school. I don't remember when, but so yeah. And back before you were attached to your cell phone, people had the radios in their ears or whatever. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? Yeah, well, give us one more minute to see if.
Well, when Steve Berkman was the baseball coach, he was a member of the night.
Yeah, okay.
When part of the time I was president, anyway, I think it was that. The rabbi asked me to to read a message from Steve Berkman, and he'd given this long explanation as to why he was unable to reschedule a game they had. That was, I think they were I think it was early bracket of the. I can't remember. I think it might have been postseason. But yeah, so I read off Steve Berkman's statement about why he really tried, but couldn't move the game.
We probably have a minion at the stadium right now. Would be my guess with the. I know of a few people. I know of a few people who are there. So there's a chance we have a minion at the basketball stadium.
You know, I'm old enough to count doors and count
I will also say my personal opinion is some people come to services specifically to remember loved ones, and the fact that Mourner's Kaddish is one of the prayers you wouldn't say. It just, so I think we'd do it anyway. But we've got lots of Torahs also in this building, right? Lots and lots and lots of them. There's 5 in the Ark, and then we have others back in this side door too, so. Oh, housed all the New Orleans ones? Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, they were laid out in the office. A lot of them in the office, and they were just all over the place. There was literally, you may have heard of this, a rescue mission that went in.
Oh, Oh, to get them, I can only imagine. Yeah, yes. I lived in New Jersey during Hurricane Sandy, but where I was living, we were safe. And actually, our synagogue, I didn't have power at home. The synagogue did, but the Jersey synagogues on the coast had to do similar things. Had to like get in there with the Torahs and bring them out. So. Well, those who are at the basketball game, I assume, are going to stay at the basketball game, and those who have joined us tonight are with us tonight. So if you need to check your phone for a score update as we enter the fourth quarter, completely feel free. And we can, as we pray our Shabbat prayers, we can also think of the women's basketball team as they play in their first round tonight. So I joked a moment ago that there's probably a minion of us at the basketball stadium, and there's a minion of us here. We will raise our voices one way, and those cheering there can raise their voices another way. How great it is for us to be together. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, yalalai, yalalai, lai, 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 lai. Hine ma tov, yalalai, yalalai, lai, 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 lai. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. I invite you now to open up your prayer books, the thick blue book in front of you, to pages 120 and 121, as I invite David to join me up here and help light our Shabbat candles. Before you do so, will you please read in English this?
I will. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Wonderful. I'll take your book from you if you could light our candles for us. You're going to use this one. You can just pick this whole thing up. I think you can pick the whole thing up tonight. Be careful so it doesn't fall. Let us together bring in the warmth of Shabbat and sing our blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner, shel Shabbat. Shabbat shalom. Thank you, David, for helping. I got to do those blessings earlier with our Rainer preschool students. They were not quite as quiet. There was lots of energy in the room this morning with our 2s, 3s, and 4-year-olds. You also might notice on the carpet, since I just noticed it over there, that they brought their green Play-Doh in, apparently, because we can see it on the carpet. But how great it is that we're able to celebrate with our youngest learners and together now. Let us continue celebrating Shabbat by thinking about this space being an inclusive space for all as we read together on page 124, the prayer that begins in the middle. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. Let us turn now to the words of Lecha Dodi, page 138 and 139. We will sing this together in Hebrew with the chorus in between verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. At the end of this poem welcoming the Sabbath bride into our community, when we get to that 9th verse, if you would like to, I'll invite you to rise and to face the door to greet Shabbat the same way you would greet someone if they entered your home. Lecha Dodi 138 and 139. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 panei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad hishmi'anu el ha'meyuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad L'Shem u'tiferet ve'litila Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 panei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nilcha ki hi mekor habracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'maksheva techila Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 panei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri Hitoreri Kiva ore ekumi ori Uri Uri Shir Daberi Kevod Adonai Alaich Nigla Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 panei Shabbat nekabela. I invite you, if you'd like, to rise and face the door as we welcome Shabbat. Boi v'shalom ateret bala Gam besimcha uvesohola toch emunei am segula boi chala Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 panei Shabbat nekabela. At this moment, I'd like us to pause since we just greeted Shabbat to our community. Let's take a moment to greet one another. Feel free to walk across the room. Wish someone a Shabbat Shalom that perhaps you did not drive here with this evening. Once you've had a moment to greet some people, I invite you to take your seats. Let us continue the theme of welcoming the ministering angels of Shabbat, page 142. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ni leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Let us read together on page 145. Teach me, O God, a blessing, a prayer, on the mystery of a withered leaf, on ripened fruit so fair, on the freedom to see, to sense, to breathe, to know, to hope, to despair. Teach my lips a blessing, a hymn of praise, as each morning and night you renew your days. Lest my day be today as the one before, lest routine set my ways. Facing page 144. Yitgadol v'yikadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach yotev yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon uvyomechon, uv'chayei dekol Beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, uvizman kariv, ve'imeru. Yahei Shmei Rabbah mevorach, le'olam olam me'omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, Shemei dekudesha. Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran me'alma ve'imeru. As we turn together to page 146, I invite you to rise. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach. Hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Hamevorach. Hamevorach le'olam va'ed. You may be seated. Let us read together on page 148. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Sivaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. We continue together, page 150. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. As we turn to page 152 and find the words of Shema, I invite you to rise, if you wish. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. You may be seated as we continue reading together on page 155. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you are tired or you are rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai your God. Page 157, we read alternating, and I invite you to read the indented lines. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Page 158. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot, osei fele, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Page 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 162. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti leolam oti leolam v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim v'et ha'aretz v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. I want you to think for a moment what the first word is that pops into your head when I say prayer. Would anybody like to share what the first word was? Yeah, Isaac. You said God? Talking. Request. Nice. Yeah.
Communing with God, trying to get closer to God.
Nice. Anybody else?
Silent.
I didn't hear you.
Silent.
Silent. Wonderful. So in a moment, we're going to enter what is called tefillah, prayer. It is a section of our service that contains the most central prayers of the evening. First, we say this line, God, open our lips so that we can offer praise. But if you think about it, that's not the way we typically open our lips, right? We are the ones, we might not always think before we open our lips, but we are the ones who have the words come out of our mouths. So for me, when I say these words as I enter this very special moment of prayer, I think about how different that is. That I'm asking God to open my lips so I can somehow make words come out of my mouth that are supposed to be meaningful, that make me connect to whatever I believe God to be in that moment. So I'm going to invite you to think about what that means for you as we enter this central moment of our prayers. We'll sing together on page 164, 166, 168, and 170 collectively. And then we'll have a moment to continue thinking about what all of this prayer means for us in a moment of silent prayer. Page 164, and I invite you to rise. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, v'Konei Hakol, v'Zocher Chastei Avot v'Imachot, u'Mevi Geula Livnei B'neihem, Leman Shemo v'Ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, ve'Ezrat Sarah, atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Melech u'morid haGashem. Mechakel chayim v'chesed. Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim. Somich noflim verofei cholim. Umatir asurim. Umekayim emunato. Lishenei afar. Michamocha ba'al gevurot. Umidom melech. Melech menit. Umechaye. Umatzmiach Yeshua. V'ne'eman atah l'chachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai. Mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh. U'kadoshim b'chol yom halelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai. Ha'el hakadosh. I invite you now to continue with your own silent prayers. Either the words on the pages in the next few pages until page 180, or just the words you have in your own hearts this evening, and I invite you to be seated whenever you wish. Oh, say shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru, amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. The prayer book that we use has a lot in it. It has the more, I'm going to put quotes on it, traditional prayer on our right-hand side of the page with English translations. Then it has these little gems on the left-hand side of the page, and I want to draw our attention to one that sometimes we overlook. Maybe you look at it on your own during your silent prayer, but it jumped out at me tonight. So on page 181. We reach for you, our God, from our quiet places. May we stand still for a brief moment and listen to the rain. Stand still for a brief moment and watch the play of sunlight and shadow on the leaves. For a brief moment, listen to the world. Let us stop the wheels of every day to be aware of Shabbat. Find the stillness of the sanctuary which the soul cherished. Renew the covenant of the ancient people. We need a quiet space to test the balance of our days, the weight of our own deeds against the heaviness of the world's demands. The balance is precarious. Steady us with faith. Quiet places and stillness where we will hear our own best impulses to speak. Quiet places and stillness from which we will reach out to each other. We will find strength in silence, and with this strength, we will turn again to your service. I feel like during the week we run from place to place. We have good weeks, we have bad weeks, we have stressful weeks, we have less stressful weeks. And Shabbat is the opportunity to hit the pause button. And I don't know about you, but I need that reminder. I'm not very good at hitting the pause button. And for some reason, this poem just stood out to me as reminding me that even when I listened to the rain this morning, or when I think about, we were talking earlier about it being chilly, the weather, that we have the ability to pause. And if those pauses bring you closer to Judaism or bring you closer to peace, I think we should pause and allow them to do that. And I know sometimes I find my moments of peace in this space. I'll be honest, sometimes I find my moments of peace when my 6-year-old daughter is dressed up like a princess and putting on a show, which she likes to do. She didn't have school today, so she decided to take some paper and write herself a book. But like every good kindergarten student, once you write your book, you then have to present it to everybody who's home. So for the short moment I was home this afternoon, I got a presentation of a book, and that was a moment of peace for me. Many of us find our peace in different places. And we also know that there are those maybe in this room, maybe in your families, in our community, and across the world who are searching for those moments of peace, and it's a little bit more difficult because possibly they suffer illness of body, illness of spirit, or illness of mind. So let us turn our prayers now to those in need of healing. Our UJCBR prayer of healing can be found on page 371. Tonight we think of, in our community, Joy Lewis, Lucy Silva, Minna Bat-Yentel, Mordechai Bendina, Rowan Hausman, Anna Carlo, Judy Roheim, Frida Tamaro Bat-Liba Bela, Menucha Pesa Bat-Cherny Umosha, Gretchen Haynes, Steve Sinkoff, Ruby Smolinski, Lee Kaplan, Jennifer Casson, Vicky Furstel, Storm Matthews, Ivo Spalatin of the older generation, Terry Stern, Judith Von Bretnell, Beau DeBlue, and John Landry Sr. If there are others you are thinking of in need of healing, if you'd like to share their names aloud, I invite you to do so as my eyes meet yours.
Jean Whalen and Alan Jean.
For the names we heard aloud and those we hold in our hearts, let us offer prayers of healing. UJCBR Avotenu Mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mikor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. I'm going to guess that most of us here are familiar with certain nursery rhymes, those ones that have stuck in our head over the years. I'll be honest, since becoming a parent a little more than 6 years ago, I have again started to think about them and say them out loud. But now I think I understand them a little bit differently than I used to. They rhyme because they're easy to remember. They're short because kids don't like to listen. They teach something in a fun way, so hopefully kids will learn some truths about the world from these fun rhymes as well. There's the rhyme that speaks to the mundane routine of life. You could say it with me. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. 3, 4, open the door. 5, 6, pick up sticks. 7, 8, lay them straight. 9, 10, do it again. Or you have to say again, right? There's the rhyme that became a song, which speaks to the mystery of the universe. Should we sing it? You know, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are, up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. And there's the rhyme that speaks to the inner meaning, I think, of this week's Torah portion. This one you probably know as well. Here is the church, and here is the steeple. Open the doors, and there are the people. Over the past 7 months, I've seen this community change, grow, adapt, and gather as one. Our doors are open to welcome people just as the nursery rhyme entails. What does it mean, though, for us to gather? One answer, I think, is given in this week's Torah portion. This week's portion begins with Moses convening the entire people. In Hebrew, it starts, Vayachel Moshe et kol adat b'nei Yisrael. Moses gathered the whole Israelite community and said to them, these are the things that God has commanded you to do. The portion opens immediately following the incident of the golden calf. In the words of Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs, what do you do when your people has just made a golden calf, run riot, and lost its sense of ethical and spiritual direction? How do you restore moral order? The answer, he says, lies in the first words of today's parashah, Vayachel, and he gathered. More often than not, when God is speaking to Moses, or Moses is speaking to the Israelite community, the word used is either Vayomer or Vayedaber, which means and he spoke. But this week, Moses did not just talk to the people. He gathered the people. So I believe he did more than just bring them physically together. What does it mean for people to gather together in community? Not just stand physically next to one another, but really gather. What does Vayachel, to gather, look like? I think it looks like using our skills and differences to become one. I think it looks like discovering an individual's character strengths and allowing each person to strengthen the others. I think it looks like using resources to tackle a common goal. The instructions for building the Mishkan, the tabernacle, are repeated many times in our Torah. In each repetition, God asks the Israelites to use very specific items to build this Mishkan. 13 different items, to be exact. The Maharal, a 16th century Polish scholar, explains that the number 13 has significant value. In Judaism, there is an idea that each Hebrew letter has a numerical value. Aleph, the first letter of the alphabet, is 1, Bet is 2, and so forth. It has a name. This is called gematria. When you add up the letters Aleph, Chet, Daled, 1, 8, and 4, which spell the word echad, 1, you get 13. When the people use those 13 specific items, they are in a sense becoming echad, 1. Maybe the project to build the Mishkan, the tabernacle, was important not because it is a structure so God could dwell amongst the people, but because the detailed process used by the individuals allowed them to unite. It is not until Moses realizes that he does not need to just daber, speak to the people, but he needs to vayachel, gather the people, to truly bring them together and build a dwelling place for God, that Moses understands what it means to really be in community. We too are in the process of learning that there is more to gathering than just being in the same room together. There's more to community than standing physically next to someone. The challenge will be to figure out how to create an atmosphere where we do more than just come together, but we treat each other in a way that we have truly gathered and become one. How will we use our skills and differences to create this community? How will we discover each other's individual character strengths and use them to strengthen one another? How will we use our multitude of resources to tackle a common goal? So here's my challenge. Let's not wait until our beautiful new gathering space is done. Let's begin now. If you're comfortable sharing, not tonight, maybe after services if you want to, I invite you to share with each other over the next several months what skills, character traits, and attributes you personally have, that you've discovered in yourself, that you will bring to our community today, tomorrow, and into all the future years to come. I'm guessing we're going to get more than 13. But if we figure out how to vayachel, how to truly gather, more than just by being in a space together or standing next to one another, then I know we will become echad, one. Shabbat shalom. You guys gonna help? Do you want to help? Isaac? Jacob? I'm gonna invite everyone to open your prayer books now as we prepare to conclude our service. We turn to page 586. And as you do it by yourself, as Isaac opens the ark for us, I invite you to please rise. Nice job. Aleinu l'shaberach l'adon hakol, la'teik gedula liotzer b'reishit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzon, ve'lo samanu kamishpachot ha'adama, shelo 591. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding. Love each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hands but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. V'nemar v'haya Adonai lamelech al kol haaretz vayom hahu yihyeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. You can close it. All right. Up the button. Thank you. Got it? Awesome. You may be seated. That's it at work. My one request for the next space is that anybody can do it even with their eyes closed. It'll be good. That's as good. We're gonna leave it there. Do you want something? We got lollipops, we got chocolate, we got big cups. Awesome. As our prayers draw to a close this evening, we turn our thoughts to our loved ones who are no more. Tonight we think of 3 who passed away in the past 30 days: Margaret Shaw, Albert Frankel, and Jerry Adams. To their names, we add the names of those who passed away in the past year: Jim Bowman, R.B. Dickerson, Moni Mayer, Joanne Strickler, Richard Stone, John Wormser, Robert Eisenbach, Jerry Suppos, Donald Kim, Hannah Bine, Nathan Zuckerman, Bernie Flicker, Herman Van Oz, Shirley Marvin, Victoria Vestel, Morris Bonadonna, Lynn Schmulin, Jerry Black, Abraham Hutt, Ronald St. Pierre, Josh Yellen, and Celestina Kovacevic. We also think of those who died at this season in years past, and whose family members are observing the Yortzeit, the anniversary of death, on this Shabbat. Lee Henry Berg, Jack Brooks, Sammy Brown, Joseph Edelman, Rabbi Abba Meir Feinberg, Maxine Finson, Eric Giddon, Sarah Holshauser, Sarah Cantro, Joe Kessler, Mary Nur, Hyman Kraft, Lulu Levy, Gus Levy, Morris Miller, Michael Roth, Lillian Schlopak, Brian Smiley, Harry Spielberger, Clarence Swire, Dan Watsky, and Donald Zuckerman. If there are others you are thinking of on this Shabbat, if you'd like to share their names aloud, I invite you to do so as my eyes meet yours. For the names we heard aloud and those whom we hold in our hearts, we turn together to the words of Mourner's Kaddish, page 598, and I invite you to rise if you wish. Yitzgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach hirotev yamlich malchute, v'chayachon v'yom echon v'chayei dekol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevarach leolam ulamei almaya. Yit barach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalel v'shemed kudesha parichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yahei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May all their memories be for a blessing. As together we say, Amen. You may be seated. Invite James, a member of our board, to welcome us and share a few announcements. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, everybody, for joining us from near and far for tonight's services. We welcome you. Thank you for everyone who helped make the corned beef sandwich sale a great success. Tomorrow morning, there's Torah study at 9:30 a.m. in the social hall and on Zoom. Minyan at 10 a.m. in the green room, and services at 10:30 a.m. in the sanctuary or on YouTube. Tomorrow night, there is a Havdalah service on Zoom hosted by the Saxey family at 6:30 p.m. On Sunday,
5:30.
I'm sorry, 5:30.
Did I text 6:30?
No, I read it wrong.
Okay.
Should be at 6:30, you're thinking of when the sun's setting down.
Exactly. On Sunday, join the book club at 1 p.m. where they will discuss the book The Israelis, Founders and Sons by Amos Elon. Join the Sisterhood on April 2nd to learn from Elizabeth Club how to arrange flowers in order to create a centerpiece for your Passover table. Please RSVP. Please RSVP and join us for the second night of Passover Congregational Seder. It will be a night of celebration, retelling the Exodus story, good food, and fun for all ages. And Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you so much. I realized I didn't put the date on there of Passover, but I can't believe it's so soon. Passover begins on Wednesday night, April 6th, and we are hosting the Congregational Seder on the second night here. No, Wednesday's the 5th. Somebody with a phone. Wednesday's the 5th, I think, and the Congregational Seder is the 6th. I think I misspoke. Is that right? Wednesday's the 5th. 5th? And the Congregational, thank you. Congregational Seders. While you have your phone out, how's the score doing? Nice. It was because we were together here praying. We raised our voices here in song, and they raised their voices in cheers, I'm sure, for the fans that were either watching there or yelling at their TV. Let us conclude tonight's service by reminding us how lovely Shabbat is. Those words, Ma Yafeh Hayom, can be found on the very bottom of page 634. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Jacob, do you want to come carry the Kiddush cup for us? I think there's a cover. You'll have to uncover it. We can join together in Kiddush, which also is in our prayer books, page 123, and I invite you to rise. You got it? Oh, it's covered. Gonna raise it high for everybody? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit Ki hu yom techila lamikrae kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim ki vanu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim ve'shabbat kodecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu baruch ata Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Do you care if you take it? I think l'chaim. I think it's wide. Nice face. Did you get it down? Will you uncover the challah for us, please? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom. Please come enjoy some challah. Because Jacob needs to rinse his mouth out from the red wine he just drank. It wasn't. Mr. James fills the cup, so it kind of depends what Mr. James puts in the cup. And I do think it was just a regular red wine tonight. Maybe he could have grabbed a piece of chocolate if he needed it to get the taste out of this wine. Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you both again. Twice in a row.
I think it's better than the one your brother really liked.
Your brother, yeah. You know, it's not even. I don't think James even put kind of shove it in there. It's like some red
Grape-
wine.
grape juice
It's
next
next time. I think that's what is it?
Thank you.
Yeah. No, it's like a real red wine. I think in there. I don't know what he put in there, but I don't think they had any in there.
You do such a good job, and you know, it's a two-person job, and you're able to handle it. You've done well.
Yeah.
He's only interested in that.
And the candy. No, Isaac's like my master art opener here.
I see that.
Yeah, it is. And it's not an easy task.
We're gonna, I can expect that you can do it all the time, but I guess one day you're gonna have a bar mitzvah. We won't see you doing it.
You could still do it
You think so?
if you wanted to.
Because he does such a good job.
Plug that back in, please.
Oh, thank you.
When you get under there,
Do
you'll
you think
figure
you
it out.
can? There's a plug and like, you see that? Oh, thank you. You see the plug over on the other side, Isaac? We had
Look in front of you, on the floor.
we had two youngins who didn't have school who came and I think they were playing under the piano. Best place to play, yeah. They were playing it. Yeah, they're both first graders playing under the they were playing under the piano when they were here. Did you get it?
That's it.
Thank you. Now my question is there a button that I'm supposed to push? I have no idea, nothing about it. It's the dehumidifier for the piano. Michael Roth would know, but I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm not calling him. Yeah, to make sure it stays in tune, I guess. I don't know. I've never lived in a place that needed a dehumidifier. We probably don't need it now.
That being a thing.
Yeah.
Well, we don't need it this week.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah.
Hey, if people keep cutting down trees, then we're gonna soon run out of air. Because people keep cutting
You
down
know,
trees.
are you learning about deforestation at school?
Habitats, lots of other habitats, more habitats.
Yeah.
Oh, and also, I just.
Isaac, he's
Yeah.
back. Believe it.
He's like, but there's 45 more chocolates in here, Dad. There's 45 more chocolates. He's fine. It's not from we switch. So I'm thank you for helping with that. I don't think anything. Yeah, we can turn. Do you know where the lights are back there? Go for it. Thank you. And then